I would like to now invite the Chief Executive Officer of KEPSA Kenya. This is Carole Kariuki. We both came home at the same time, same year, and Carole is now running KEPSA. So it's a privilege to be introducing you today, Carole. Thank you.
Thank you, Alikan. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Mine is very, very short. I'm hoping that clip will show. It's just a minute, but it's really why Kenya, the future is Kenya.
Meet these business leaders. Leaders who symbolize success in Kenya.
Kenyans are go-getters. We are creators.
Kenya is definitely Africa's Silicon Savannah.
Kenya has one of the best educated population.
Kenya is ripe for investment.
Who believed in Kenya as it was.
Our business is driven by the Kenyan people.
Everyone with a phone has the power to grow the economy.
Would I invest in Kenya again? 10 times over.
Kenya is on the verge of becoming a significant global player.
Who now tell us where the future is Kenya.
Mine is really briefly to say Kenya is the gateway to Africa. And this is especially for our guests and entrepreneurs who've come from China to tell you if you're going to invest in Africa, start from here. And I'll just walk through with just 5 slides very quick. There's so much you can say about Kenya, but I just wanted to show you why are we saying Kenya is the gateway to Africa. So if we could run to the first slide, and you see the connection. And this came from One Belt, One Road, which most of our Chinese visitors know about. And you can see the route there that starts from where it starts from Asia, and the point is at Mombasa and joins up to Djibouti and to Europe and the rest of the world. And so this is where you enter Africa through. And why is that so? Consumer spending is up 60% over the last 5 years. 65% of the population is below 35 years. So you're looking at your innovators, your entrepreneurs, your consumers. 78% of Kenyans have internet access, against 28% overall in Africa. And in July 2016, Kenya Airways served 54 destinations globally, 44 of them being Africa. So once you're here, you can reach the rest of Africa very fast. Slide 2. When you look at the sustained, resilient, and inclusive growth, there's the world real GDP growth, there's the sub-Saharan Africa, and there's Kenya. And you can see as the world has been struggling at about an average of 3% GDP growth. The rest, Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, around between 3 to 4%, but Kenya, around 5 to 6% the last couple of years. Of course, this year will be a bit strange to go a bit down because we have had a drought, extended drought. But what are these sectors that are contributing to that GDP growth? We have agriculture, forestry and fishing, 15.2%, real estate, 12.3%, transport and storage, 9.7%, construction, 8.2%, education, 7.5%. And what keeps Kenya real growing, especially with the commodity prices going down, is because of our diversified economy. And those are the sectors that are growing. The third slide. The growth multipliers over the medium term. You can look at some of the multinationals, and we just captured very few who have based their headquarters here or are working here. And many of them talk about the infrastructure. When you look at the rest of sub-Saharan Africa, even with our challenge of infrastructure, we really are doing much better, and that's why we're really the gateway. And then we have 86% of youth literacy between 15 and 24 years, and 50% of that population is below 25 years. Look at Africa's ICT. We are really we are the Africa's ICT innovation hub. And about 40,000 Kenyans are already working on online platforms. And we are looking to increase that through a program that we're working with the Ministry of ICT called AJIRA, between KEPSA and the Ministry of ICT, to really encourage more of the Kenyans and to understand online work. But again, the other thing, and I know this will come out in the panel, 75% of Kenyans aged 15 years and above are banked through M-Pesa, the mobile money. And I will not say much about that because it will come up. But we also have untapped hydrocarbon find, which is 600 million barrels reserve for those who are in the industries of, in the mineral industry. And the fourth, what is guiding us? Because you could shoot from any corner, but Kenya is guided by a vision, what we call the Vision 2030. And this initiative is set to lift the country to a middle-income country, and infrastructure developments will lead to open up access to nearly 40% of Kenya's population because of infrastructure, triple the investment space, bringing in 2 to 3% of GDP via core projects and 5 to 8% of investment. There are real opportunities in Vision 2030 that you can take advantage of, and I cannot mention all of them, but there's the roads, there's the power, there's the rail, there's the LAPSET, there's the food security, and there are many, many public-private partnerships. And some of the opportunities for collaboration that are already going on. So for those who are thinking about investment, and that's my fourth slide, we already have about 10,000 kilometers of new roads that are required, and that process is ongoing. Those are already real projects that you can take part on. There's also the container terminal in Mombasa, and part of the phase 1 of the LAPSET project. And then phase 2A and B of the standard gauge rail, Nairobi, Naivasha to Kisumu and Malaba, and continue. The phase 2 work has begun. So there's already opportunities right there. Oil and gas. And already we talked about the Kenya Pipeline Company, which has begun a project on $489 million, construction of a new Mombasa Nairobi multi-product. And I could mention many others, the power, the wind projects that are already going on, the hydro, the geothermal, and the transmission. Then, of course, there's the growth in internet penetration and mobile data, which is expected to create numerous opportunities. We're in the 4th industrial revolution, the age of internet and technology. And that's where we should be thinking where our jobs will come from. And I know the panel will be focused on innovation. What is Africa waiting for? The jobs will be different from what Asia got in the last 30 years. No jobs are coming from Asia the way we know Asia received them from Europe. So how shall we create our jobs? And my final slide, a case study of China collaboration with Kenya. And that is the standard gauge rail, which I mentioned, which was commissioned in June 2017, phase 1. And what will that provide? It's just not the construction of the standard gauge rail. We are known world over for our tea, for our coffee, for our flowers in terms of export. This is what this will be used for. And so any investor who is thinking about those investments, this is where to use. But then there's the rest of Africa to get some of those products and bring them through the standard gauge rail, at least when they get to Kisumu, and hopefully it goes to Uganda and Rwanda, and gets to Mombasa and to the rest of the world. But there are also industrial parks. We want to be able to go into light manufacturing, electronics that can go to the rest of Africa. Remember I said that we connect to the rest of Africa through the airline and through the roads that are being constructed. We want those industries based here. So we really are the gateway. The special economic zones, the leather city that is already coming up, that has already been started, the textile industry. We want to clothe and feed Africa. Thank you very much. Let me just say the reason why we are giving you a monumental lion. Thank you very much. Because we talk about Asian tigers. And we felt strongly that Kenya is part of the Africa Lions. Wow. So this is what we want to remind you. So the next time you're coming, you want to be the biggest economy in Africa among the African lions.